Okay. Hello. Please state your name and your project that you submitted for the.
Hey guys, my name is Jaylin Pressley. I'm director and writer of Divided, the limited series that's going to be screening in the Astoria Film Festival.
What inspired you to make this?
So there's a couple things that led me being inspired to tell this story. I'm a first responder, and so I go to the same deli almost every day, and I got in a boat like this before with the bodega owners. So as you guys know, if you live in the city, I'm pretty sure you guys know what it's like to go to like the same bodega every day. You just become friendly, and so that's kind of how this. I was kind of inspired by it through them, just talking to them almost every day. Just getting a sense of their story and their experiences. And always thought it'd be cool to tell a story about a family who runs a business, and so that kind of one idea led to another idea, and then from there, and it just snowballed into a story that I was able to tell.
What was the most challenging aspect of creating your series?
It's a great question. I definitely say creating a whole series itself was kind of pretty challenging. So in order for me to create this project, I thought about the project about a year before I even made it, and then it just kind of just sat on my laptop. And then I applied for this film grant through a New York City Creators, which is like a nonprofit organization where if you apply with a pitch and an idea, you could qualify to receive the grant. And luckily, I received the grant. And then from there, my cast that I had, so I was thankful because they're so talented, but they're also kind of often booked. And so as with me, with my schedule, I'm often as well pretty busy. So the most challenging part I would say is filming a 18-page script in one day. Everything you see in this film, we all shot in one day, was kind of extremely difficult. Like I said, luckily enough, I have a talented crew. The same thing goes for my cast, so we were all able to do it within. I think we did like a 15-hour day, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So that definitely was the most challenging part, was getting everything done in one day.
That's crazy. The aspect
Yeah,
of
it was.
finishing a
Yeah,
script in one day, let alone 18.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was 18. I mean, like I said, so I mean, like my DP, which is Tom. I'm thankful. This is my third time working with Tom, and every time I work with Tom, we work kind of fast, and we like to use like a long tracking shots. And so the first scene we did was was one long tracking shot to set up the scene, the establishing shot, and things of that nature. And we did that in a couple takes, and after that I felt confident that we could get the project done because Charlie was our lead, and the same thing for Sharif, who was the supporting actor, and Katie were both in the scene, but we actually got it done kind of quick. And from there, I knew, okay, everything's gonna be all right. Like if they know their lines and they know what they want to improv, things of that nature, we had the blocking set. I know from there we had a chance, and luckily we got it done.
So, like, what I'm hearing is that it's important to have a crew that you mesh with and can trust with your project to get it done.
100%. I feel like filmmaking, as great as it is definitely a collaborative effort. You can't do anything by yourself. I write, but I can't use a camera as good as Tom can. Tom is better. Tom is my DP. He's better at doing that. Like I said, I write, but I can't act. Charlie and Sharif and Katie are the actors. So, you can't do nothing alone in this world, especially not when it comes to being in filmmaking. You need to trust the people that you're working with in order to create something special. And I feel like each time I invest in wanting to make a project, I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna tell this story, but I need these people to tell the story with me. I can't do it by myself. You know what I'm saying?
I totally understand that. So how does you mentioned earlier that you are a first responder. So besides the aspect of visiting the same uh deli or like the bodega, as some people like to call it, every day, contributed to your project or your series?
I think it definitely plays a large part in my career as being an independent filmmaker. I'm not quite sure where I want to finish as a filmmaker, but I know how much I'm inspired by people every day. I know how much I love telling stories. And I work in the Bronx, so if you're familiar with the Bronx, the Bronx is kind of a world of its own, so to speak. So every day you could walk into one bodega and in a different bodega, and it'd be two different worlds. Two different types of Spanish music playing, and one could be playing Afro beats. It all depends on where you're at in the Bronx. So I'm definitely inspired by people each and every day and certain experiences that I come across. And I thought, wow, that would make a dope movie. And I actually really try to write it out. Storytelling is not just about experiences, and it's not just about characters. Everything has to intertwine. So I feel like when I tell stories, I try to tell it from everybody's perspective, and I really try to really put myself in a situation where I could tell something that would inspire somebody. That's really what I want to do as a filmmaker.
Definitely. I feel like that also will connect with other people that aren't filmmakers, but
Right.
that's like a good piece of advice for anyone that's watching.
Yeah, I was always told, even when I went to film school, make a movie that you would want to see. And that's kind of what I kind of live. That's kind of like my mantra. I'm creating something is make something that I would want to see myself in theaters. That's what I try to do. And thankfully for the Astoria Film Festival, maybe to screen a project, and hopefully it's received well by the audience, and then we can talk about it.
Definitely. So I have a few more questions for you.
Yes, of course.
What's your piece of advice? It can be one sentence that you would give to another filmmaker or anyone that works in the film industry or is aspiring to work in the film industry.
As cliche as it may sound, I would say intern. I wasn't really. So I went to film school, and after that, I kind of floated a little. I floated around a bit from intern, for free, whatever the case may be. But each opportunity I had, I took something from it. Like people, as cliche as it sounds, but I wasn't. You don't know how much you really love something until you do it for free, and then once you really become good at it, don't do it for free. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you keep that mindset and always remain humble in anything that you're doing, never think you know too much, because in reality, you're always learning something new each and every day. Especially as content creators, we're always learning from an experience or from a simple just walk in the park. You could encounter something that you can learn from. So I just tell myself, remain humble and always open to learn. But definitely, if you're starting out and you're new, there's nothing wrong with interning. Me personally, I didn't really become a better screenwriter until I was doing script coverages. And for people who don't know what script coverage is, that's basically just a producer. If you're an intern with a producer, you read scripts and you just say, you basically survey the script. What do you like about the script? What doesn't work about the script? Things of that nature. And that's kind of really how we start to understand the fundamentals of how to write a script. You learn that in film school, but then it's even more intense when you're actually an intern. You're actually being absorbed with different types of content. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely say interning is a great step, as well as always remain humble. Never think you know too much.
Definitely. I see Charlie has joined us.
Oh, yay.
I'm so sorry.
Charlie.
I am so sorry.
It's totally fine. No, you're
give her all the. Don't be mad at her. Be mad at her. Don't be mad at her.
I could never do that. You came at a good time. I was just asking Jaylin what one piece of advice would be to someone that's aspiring to go into the film industry. But I will give you the second half of that question and say someone who specifically wants to create projects in general rather than just in the film industry. It's a hard question, right? Coming into the
it's okay. I think it's actually something I'm struggling with right now because I'm trying to navigate the social media space. So I think that the advice that I would give to, just in general, is to cancel out the noise, because, we get into spaces where we feel as though we're confident in situations and we believe in ourselves, and then here comes the noise, the white noise, the doubt, and things along those lines. So I think my advice would be to cancel out the noise, focus on the wins, focus on the things you can control, and not so much, what you can't control, because there's always going to be things you can't control. So yes, essentially.
That's great advice, especially for young people that are coming in. There's a lot of media, like white noise, that can defer you from actually reaching your potential. And that was like a great piece of advice. And then our last question for today would be, what is next for you? Where do you see yourself next? It could be in film. It could just be a new aspect of your life that you want to enter into. So what do you feel?
Charlie, you want to go first? You can go first, Charlie, if you like.
Okay. Where do I see myself? On someone's stage and on someone's television show as a series regular. I see myself. I'm waiting for everybody else to see it. So
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's definitely to maintain. It's hard to maintain that type of that mindset as far as you're gonna get there because there's a million other people that are also fighting to get there. So um, it it's a hard space and it's a hard mindset to maintain, but that is where I see myself. And God willing, you will see me there too very soon. So yes.
I'll definitely be on the lookout.
Yeah, it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint. But one thing I would say, I've been an independent filmmaker for quite some time, but Charlie is an amazing talent. So I'm pretty sure that goal that she has, people will see her for what she's worth, and she's an amazing talent. I tell that all the time, but I like to always say that we're in this space because I know how hard it is for some actors to never get their foot in the door. But Charlie's really amazing. So I'm pretty sure she knows that. But for myself, like I said, I don't really know what my end goal in filmmaking is. I would love to do a feature. Right now, I like working in short-term goals. That's kind of what I always tell myself to stay focused because, like Charlie said, it's so easy to get distracted. So I always tell myself to just work in spurts and create short-term goals. So right now, my short-term goal is to create episode 2 for this project. I have an Indiegogo page, which is divided episode 2. So when you guys watch this, be sure to look it up. But my end goal, like I said, filmmaking is to continue to tell dope stories that inspire people. I'm also a father, so I always try to tell my daughter, shoot for the stars, do what you can. And so I try to maintain that into my life with her and then with work and with everything else. I just want to continue to tell dope stories.
I will say after watching your project, I could definitely rewatch it again. So I'm excited for part 2.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for letting me interview you. And I'm excited for everyone at the film festival to see this project.
Are you going to be there?
I will definitely be there. I will be working.
Great. Looking forward to seeing you. Thank you. Look forward to it.
Again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'll see you guys later.
Thank
bye.
You.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Take care. Charlie, be well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Was I